evening, everybody, and welcome to Vegas for the fifth round of the I2I Motorsports NASCAR Truck Series. Here in this season, we are approaching 1/3 distance, and we'll be racing every Saturday night until February 7th, apart from the couple around Christmas on December 20th and 27th. We'll be live every Saturday night. This time round from Las Vegas after the short track experiment at IRP last week. A race next week has actually been changed. Knox Wilkesboro is not going to happen anymore. It will be Phoenix, a similarly short circuit, not a bit longer, and that will play host to our championship next season. But it's just 50 laps for us tonight here from Las Vegas. Myself and Deliri, Hamish Monroe will take you through the action, and we should just reflect first of all, Hamish, on the previous round of the championship at IRP. I can absolutely understand why Trey and the guys would have wanted to change North Wilkesboro, a similarly short circuit, to Phoenix, which is a little bit more open and well known, because of the race that we saw last week, which had plenty of cautions. But I think at times last week we did show that this group is not too far away from getting a real long short track run together and a real good race together on a short track. So I would like to see them return at some point, but next week is not that week.
No, it's not. I mean, obviously we go out to the dogleg of Phoenix, which is going to be a big enough test as it is, of course, Ewan. But I think the problem is the style of racing that you need to bring to short track racing. What we saw last week, we only saw periodically. We didn't see all throughout. And I think you've got to bring a different mindset when racing at those short tracks. And maybe in future the league will just run a short track series where drivers can learn short tracks and get used to the race style. It paid off for some drivers, of course. Paid off for Jack Anderson. Took his first win on an oval last week out at IRP. Bailey Brannon got himself a good podium and some solid points as well. Vegas is going to be a whole different beast this week now. Obviously, it's a lot more fast-paced, much higher speed that we're going to be running around the circuit. And I think a much higher possibility of big mistakes happening, but I think we will still see some really, really good green flag running all throughout the piece tonight. I'm interested to see who is actually going to survive this one this evening. I think that when we come to this style of track and we look at our timing at the moment, we can't really look past the likes of Johnny Suggs. That guy has been on fire this season at these more sort of mid-sized speedways. The super speedways obviously are more of a, it's lightning in a bottle. Anyone can get struck. But these regular motor speedways, Johnny has been the driver to beat, and I think tonight's going to be a very similar prospect.
Yeah, we've got a massive field tonight of 36 drivers who are currently in this session, including Zach Smathers, which is when you know it's about to get rowdy. He's not set a lap yet, but he is here. And we've got just a minute or so to go until practice. So quickly go through a couple of things before we get the Black Jackson Burnout 75 qualifying session underway. Fuel will be about 34 to 35 laps here tonight, as you can see there. That's about 2/3 of our race distance. So there may be, there certainly will be a pit stop at some point tonight, but whether it will be under green or not remains to be seen. Next week is Phoenix, and then the run-up to Christmas is Chicagoland, Bristol, and the Red Bull Ring. So we'll have 4 weeks between oval races, between Bristol and Daytona, which will bring us back into the new year. Our second and final road course will be at Watkins Glen, then Charlotte for one of our longest nights, as the Charlotte Motor Speedway race always does hold. Pocono, then the third last round, Martinsville, which may well change because that's the only other short track remaining. Hopefully the guys in the weeks preceding that at Charlotte and Pocono put on a good show, and therefore we can go 80 laps there to a short track. And Homestead will round out the season. NASCAR returning to its traditional final race, by the way, after a few years at Phoenix in the real world. They're going to Homestead next year in 2026, and we're going to Homestead in 2026 to round off the calendar as well. As far as tonight is concerned, you get the feeling that Vegas might be a bit of an easier place to keep cautions away, but you've got to counteract that with about a 50% increase on the field from last week as well. So I'm very interested to see which of those balance of power just tilts in their favour, whether it's going to be a little bit more green flag or indeed the same as last week, hoping for a few more longer runs.
Well, I think that obviously momentum is going to be a big thing tonight, Ewan. It was really hard last week for drivers to get into a really big momentum swing and kind of push themselves forward. But we saw how important it was in the latter third of the race. Actually, how important that momentum was, and actually getting the momentum, for that long green period, which then pushed them forward to the end of the race. tonight's going to be very similar here at Vegas, of course, as well. I mean, it'll be similar across the next few weeks. But Phoenix, momentum is massive. Chicagoland, it's very similar to Vegas. It's going to be a similar story. And then Bristol as well. It's, sort of that, it's in between of a regular speedway and a short track, and then Bristol's got its own challenges in its own rights. And then Red Bull Ring, well, that might be a throwaway round for some of the drivers.
Yeah.
Based on that it's a road course and the fact that myself and Jack did laps yesterday and we were over a second faster than Bailey Brannan on the Red Bull Ring. So,
all right.
It may be a throwaway. It may not be. Who knows? But no, there'll definitely need to be some practice going into that race. But that's going to be tough because Phoenix is going to take good practice. Chicagoland, they can get away with minimal practice because of the fact that it is very similar to Vegas. But Bristol, they'll definitely need practice for as well. So it is going to be a very difficult next 4 rounds after tonight in terms of preparation for circuits coming up. Now, we look at Vegas tonight. As we said, it's a fast-paced, tri-oval, very similar to the likes of Chicagoland, Michigan, even Nashville as well. Kansas too, yep, exactly. So, this is the sort of circuit that is going to favour a lot of the old breed of oval drivers and stock car drivers as well. But it is one where mistakes can still happen no matter who you are. And it could take one false moment of trying to put yourself into a better position in the race. And you just overlap with somebody and you may not get a blind spot indicator or something like that. And then all hell breaks loose because it's that fast-paced, and that one little mistake like that where drivers get caught up together, very easily you can get put into the wall and then you're facing the wrong way all of a sudden.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a big field here tonight as well. It's not like we've not seen these sort of similar circuits so far this calendar, by the way. As you mentioned, Michigan there, one of the circuits you outlined similar to this one we've had for our opener.
Even Texas as well. Texas and Michigan are very similar to this circuit. So, both those races, as we said, they favoured Johnny Suggs and Bailey Brannan struggled in the first part of the season, but they should suit him as well. Cody Pruitt's always one to watch out for on these racings of these style of circuits too. So they're the main drivers I'll be looking at tonight to possibly perform. Kevin Battering as well. He's been very impressive in this first part of the season, Ewan. Really only had one poor race, and that was last week at IRP. So there's a couple of drivers to keep an eye on. Plus as well the returning Chris Mackey. See how he's doing in his driving after his time away from the series and now as he returns. As Johnny Suggs goes to the top, 30.32 on that last attempt there here in qualifying, so he's gone straight to the top. How that's now going to suit some of these drivers. Paul Harris has got some good pace tonight. Craycraft, he's been up and down, and then Mike Rinker too, we know he's got good pace, and he does do well at these sorts of circuits. So there's a couple of drivers we need to keep an eye out for, and I think there's more than one person we could look out for as a possible race winner tonight.
Yep, it looks like it, and that's exactly what you want to see. It's not a circuit normally like Daytona, Talladega, where you'd expect loads of drivers to be within a tenth, but the top 11 at the moment are all within 1/10 of a second. That is pretty remarkable to see in a qualifying session at a circuit like this one. 34 of the 36 drivers have set times here. Ronnie Clark and Zach Smathers, the only ones to not do that. They've still got a minute to go, but they will not get out in time to set anything of note here. So that looks like it's going to be that for the qualifying session. And Johnny Suggs looks like he's going to take pole here ahead of Bailey Brannan. I'm pretty sure it was Brannan, wasn't it, last week, who narrowly missed out on a victory. It's worth just noting Jack Anderson, his first oval victory 1 week ago at IRP, although it's a road course style oval, if you could put it that way. Managed to turn underneath out of 4 and get to the front. He's going to start back from 20th. I think that these are the ovals maybe that a less seasoned oval driver would struggle with a bit more than a IRP or a Martinsville. Yeah,
well, I think for Jack in particular, he really enjoys racing at short tracks. So when when a short track does come up, he is someone that we can look at to say, hey, he could actually do quite well here. But he is getting better and better. He's getting faster and faster on these ovals as well. It is scaring some of the drivers actually how much better he is getting. A lot of blame is being put on Bailey for that, for actually helping Jack get faster on ovals, specifically from Zach Smathers. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of pressure being on some of these drivers tonight. There's a lot of pressure on, drivers to try and perform as well. I mean, but if you're in the position of Anderson, for example, the only Australian in the whole field, surrounded by Americans, you've got less pressure than all they do because they've all got to try and beat you. If you beat them, well, that's kind of a little tip of the cap and like, hey, you grew up with this style of racing. I'm just here for the vibes, and I've just beaten you. So that's where it can be quite fun for them. Warm-up session's about to begin, Ewan, so 5 minutes for these drivers to get prepped once again. We have got a couple of chats out there already. Sawyer's out there as well. Will the bucket have what it takes, or will the dry spell continue? He's had a massive dry spell this season, as Bailey Brannon out there as well. It's going to be a roll of the dice tonight. Will we see how the cards dealt out tonight as well in the Black Chats and Burnout 75 here at Las Vegas? Posey's out there too. He'll be racing with us as well. William out there. Let's go number 8. Watch out for them Rinker boys as well. So get out there into the chat if you are watching with us. Chat alongside us as well, Ewan, because we love to hear back from the people who are watching, because it means that they get to interact with us, we get to interact with them, and they get to be a part of the broadcast, even in some small manner. Yeah,
it's good to hear from everybody. Just to circle back to Jack Anderson, by the way, I have noticed Australians like beating people at their own sports. I've noticed that as an Englishman over the years. It's painfully.
See, this is just what happens when you can't afford to carry a small little urn of ashes. I'm sorry, but that's how it goes.
2 weeks' time.
The one I'd be worried about, Ewan, would be is if we did better than England in the World Cup. That's where I'm worried. But as an England fan of football,
World Cup.
Yeah, well, as an England fan of in football, I like seeing Australia do well, but I do want to see England in the World Cup.
Why do you support England in the World Cup?
I'm dual citizen.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, my dad was born in Scotland and then immigrated here. So I'm a UK citizen and an Australian citizen. So I'm an Australian citizen because I was born here, but I'm also a UK citizen by birth because of my dad. So, yeah, then plus all my family's English and Scottish as well. So I like to see Scotland do well in the World Cup too, namely just for John McGinn. But aside from that, no, I want to see England win a World Cup if I could. So
you couldn't even. You can't even imagine how much I also want that.
I'm sure I can. Been 60 years since that last trophy.
Good grief!
At least the women's team wins things, Ewan.
I know, yeah. Bit of solace for us there every 4 years when the women decide to.
Although it was heartbreaking when England beat Australia in the Women's World Cup final. I want to see Sam Kerr win a World Cup, but there's another chance.
So you support England unless they're against Australia, which I guess is fair enough.
Yeah, but so to be fair, I expect Australia to do well in the Women's World Cup because they actually have got one of the best international teams in the world. I don't expect Australia to do particularly well in the Men's World Cup just because women's football in Australia is one of the best systems in the world for women's football. Men's football is, it's had a very good system, but compared to the rest of the world of men's football, it's not quite there. But we're probably boring all of our American viewers in the talk of European football.
What do you mean? You're not throwing it forwards?
Yeah, you're kicking it with your foot. What do you mean?
Kicking it and it's not gone badly.
Yeah.
Only when you kick it, it's you've done something wrong.
Don't get me started on Australian rules football. I still think that's a much better sport than the NFL, but that's my own choice.
Oh, big controversy there.
Fourth highest domestically viewed sport in the world, Ewan. It has the 4th highest average attendance to live games in the whole world.
I'm not surprised about that. That doesn't mean I'd have to change my mind on the fact it's rubbish.
No, it's not. It's great. It's fun time. My team's been back-to-back as premiers the last 2 years, so I'm having a great time as an AFL fan. So we've got plenty of drive. We've got plenty of people are just learning more and more about us at the moment in terms of what we prefer. We've only got a couple of seconds left here in the warm-up session, so drivers are just finishing up here. Interested to see how some of these drivers do. There are some fresh names that I don't necessarily recognise. Brock Piper, great name. What a fantastic name. Brock Piper is out there with us as well. Jacob Miller, who may have raced previously this season. I'm not 100% sure. Corey Colfers Jr. as well is out there with us, so looking forward to see how he does. Steve Bocock, great name. Or hopefully Steve does well tonight as well in his first outing in the series. Ronnie Clark, who didn't set a time in qualifying, so it'll be interesting to see if he actually makes the race start, Ewan. But then we've also got all of our old favourites as well. I think the beauty is we have our old favourites of drivers who raced here, obviously all throughout last season in Xfinities, and then this season now in the trucks as well. And then we get to find new favourites of drivers as they join the series as well.
Absolutely. Brock Piper, by the way, if you don't mind me saying, sounds a bit Australian to me, but obviously it's American.
You know what? It does. It really does sound Australian.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
But there you go. Anyway, sorry for getting sidetracked. Well, I'll focus now because warm-up's come to a close and we are getting ready for the race. The pace lap is about to get underway, so let's go through the starting grid for the Blackjacks and Burnout 75 here from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. 75 miles on the clock and it's 50 laps ahead of us here tonight.
I think my ticker is now stuck at the top of the screen. I'm not sure why, Ewan. So let me just try and figure this out. We'll be able to get the grid up for everybody because it's not emptying at the moment. So let me just do some little switcheroos and then we can do it. I suppose we could read the grid off of the actual timing. To be fair.
I can't do that.
Reload, so well, it's about to reload. Yeah, don't worry, Ewan.
I was going to say that could have got quite difficult. We've been going off memory, but yes, they are all just about ready to go. Quite a long grinning process, so just waiting on everybody to be ready, which they nearly are, apart from Zach Smathers. So Johnny Suggs will be on the pole. He's in the yellow on the inside there, with Bailey Brannan alongside, who's so often up towards the front. Kevin Battering and Travis Creech are on row 2 ahead of Paul Harrison, Braden Craycraft. Mike Rinker and Chris Mackey next ahead of Steve Blevins and John Roberts. Cody Nelson and Steve Bodcock on row 6 ahead of Jason Reeves and Kevin Baker. Then, just to go through the last bit more quickly, Percy Curran and Robert Stevens on row 8. Ryan Simmons and Michael D'Adamo on row 9. Jack Anderson is alongside Brock Piper, then Cody Pruitt and Daniel Wing. Trevor Thomas is alongside Corey Colfers Jr., Joe Dyson and Jacob Miller. Next row ahead of Chris Hone and Joshua Whitmer. Tyler Miller and Trey Greiber round out the top 30 with Devin Trusty and Chad Schmidberger alongside Chandler Howell and Nate Owen on row 17 ahead of Zach Smathers and Ronnie Clark, who are on the back row together. They will start despite not setting a qualifying, so a massive field for us tonight.
Yep, absolutely massive field for us tonight, Ewan. I must say, Ronnie Clark sounds like an English cricketer's name. Just to sneak that one in there.
Good.
But no, I'm excited for tonight's race. Of course, 50 laps around Vegas. It's always going to be a fun time. Can Suggs get himself another win, or is Brannan finally going to break the curse and win a race in the trucks, or is he a one-trick pony and only able to win in the sedans?
Controversial, but I like it. Let's see how he gets on tonight along with everybody else. And Blackjacks and Burnout 75, sorry, not 750. That'll be a very long race. Up towards the start line then, here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Johnny Suggs in control of the field. He waits to the end of the restart zone and we're underway. 75 miles in Vegas, under the lights here in the Truck Series. Caution. Yep. Caution on lap 1. Yep. Second race in a row. We cannot get to the end of the first mile and a half before we've seen a caution, and it's come through the just outside of the top 5. Cody Pruitt, I think, has been. Oh my goodness! How? It's a massive smash up just outside the top 5, but inside the top 10, it's a massive smash up off of 4.
Oh my God, that is absolutely huge, Ewan. How has that even occurred? Like that is huge. I'm trying to find the easiest moment to figure this out. We may just have to go back to the green flag race start, and then just watch this first lap back, because
I think Cody. If you want to follow anybody, I think Cody Pruitt is one of the first involved, sort of highest up involved in this. But it doesn't happen very far down the field. And by the way, live pictures. There are 9 drivers currently down on pit lane getting repairs.
So let's try and watch this back. So Pruitt, who we're following here, up in the blimp. So first few corners were fine, and then as we come down the back stretch and up towards turn 3, 4. And this is kind of where it all starts to kind of come unglued for us, Ewan, between some of those drivers. So how is Cody in this position of? Okay, no, it was earlier than that. It was actually Craycraft and a couple of other drivers as well. That is all hell breaking loose. So we may just have to actually pull a little sneak and go back here. So, okay.
Oh, hello.
Yeah. So this gives us a better angle of it. So Craycraft got loose, went down, and then straight back up in the way. I'm not even sure. So that's the tide entry in behind him, it seems. And then there's another little incident separate to that in behind them.
Yeah,
and then more
42 and 69.
Yeah.
There.
And then more cars just pile in. Oh my God, that is a huge moment in this race. Multiple cars down pit lane. And yeah, that's a tough moment to swallow for some of those drivers. But first caution of the race didn't even make it into lap 1, Ewan. So it's an intense beginning to this one. Hopefully we can get ourselves sorted into a nice long green run shortly.
Yeah, second time that's happened in 2 weeks, by the way. I'm not sure if it was happening before I got here this season or whether I brought this on a bit.
I'll give you the hot tip, Ewan. It has happened prior to last week.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I mean, 2 weeks is not exactly a pattern just yet, but if it happens next week, I'm going to get worried. Put it that way. We will be at Phoenix, of course, next week. The flat mile-long circuit will be our venue. As you see, some of the longer repairs happening down in pit lane at the moment. Trey Grubb has been in there for 2.5 minutes. He's a lap down already. Braden Craycraft and Chris Mackey couldn't even drive their cars back to pit lane. They may well already be resigning to defeat because they've been in there for minutes. And oh no, Mackey's actually making his way back out onto the circuit right now.
I think it might have. Was it actually Mackey's car that hit Craycraft when he came back up to the top of the circuit? I think it may have been. Possibly.
It looks a bit like him.
Yeah, I think it might have been Mackey. Now, it wasn't obviously Mackey's fault. He had nowhere to go. Craycraft got loose and a little skill issue caused a big pile-up, of course. But, yeah, I mean, I suppose the one thing we can say, Ewan, is it was just a car getting a bit loose that's actually caused such a big pile-up. It wasn't actually really at the fault of any of the other drivers. Like, it wasn't an egregious moment that's caused the caution to come out. It's just one of those weird situations where a driver's made a mistake and everyone else hasn't had anywhere to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Not, as you say, I think, it's hard to put too much blame on Craycraft either, although he did lose the car in the first place. He can't be judged at fault for everybody crashing in there.
No, but his own one, he can be at fault at for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Into the pump and dump restart zone we go for the first time tonight, and at the end of 4 laps, it's going to be Johnny Suggs taking his second restart of the race. See how many laps under green. Indeed, we can get 1 lap under green this time round.
Well, we can see already there's a couple of drivers getting into their lines further back. Quite unsure where they want to sit. There's a little bit of sort of almost 3-wide action, nearly staggered 3-wide action through turn 3. There's contact with the 53 car of Trevor Thomas. Oh, and it's another caution at turn 4.
Oh, the entry in the middle of turn 3 looks very, very tricky at the moment. Really tricky.
This one looked like there was actually contact. Who was that behind him? Because that car is right up him. It's the 18. Who was the 18? Tyler Miller. So this was Tyler Miller in behind. Was there contact coming through 3-4 as he got loose on his own? Oh, it's very close to call. Very, very close to call. I think there might have been contact there, Ewan. And I think he may have just drilled the back of the 53 car.
Or what sometimes happens as well is that, the car in front initially gets slightly loose. That slows them down a bit, and then you end up getting into the back of them that way. Because you can't avoid. So that may be what went on there as well, but hard to tell really which came first.
I think
when they both come so close to one another.
I think we've got Braden Craycraft in the chat saying rear just left me unfortunate. Yeah, that's what we saw.
Yeah.
Is his lap 1 incident was just the rear end got loose and not much more he could do other than try and catch it. So it's really tough when that happens. I did do a couple of truck official races yesterday, Ewan, out at Michigan. Weren't too bad. I got taken out in both races. The first one I got taken out in the last lap as I was coming up to the line. And then the other one I got taken out probably halfway through and destroyed my engine. So that was fun for me. But no, it was very, very tough is a very tough car to drive, and it is not easy at all. The rear wants to get, and if you don't have a good setup on this car, the rear end just wants to snap on you sometimes through corners, and you're trying to sort of do little corrections of trying to correct yourself. I had a comment. 53 was in the wrong lane anyways on the restart. Well, if he was, then I don't really know what to say about that. I mean, I don't know. I don't really know what else to say other than without us checking if he was or wasn't. I suppose we could look if he wasn't, but I don't know which one was the correct lane for him at this stage, so I can't even check it. Like,
it would be quite obvious which lane he's in, but not obvious which one he should have been in.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. So that makes things a bit tricky, but there you go. Never mind. Not going to be able to work that out too easily by the looks of things here, as we come to 1 to go, by the way, until the restart. I mean, we'll have 8 laps complete when we get this race back underway again here, by the way, and it won't be too long. If there's one more caution, I reckon they'll be coming in at that one to top off on fuel and then hopefully go to the end.
Well, there's the two thought processes then, and they can go 34 to 35 laps on their fuel. They'll only need one stop, of course, to get home. There may be some drivers that then actually play the risky game of not coming in and hoping that it's going to, stay under caution the majority of the way. If they can go, say, 20 laps under caution, then they may be okay with a bit more fuel saving. Because we got to remember, you save roughly about a lap worth of fuel under a pace car. So we're already on our it's our second or third. I'm losing all track of time. I think it's our third caution of the race. So they've already saved a couple laps here. So if there's a few more, they can get out to maybe 40 laps, which would then cut down the total amount of fuel they actually in the car. I don't know if they're going to realise they're not going to need to fill it up all the way, but we'll see how that plan's going to work out. But half the field's already been into pit lane. So because of those incidents early, half the field's already been in, done some stops. So the top few that haven't actually come into pit road yet.
Absolutely. So far, the top 14, 15 or so have not been into pit lane. Into the pump and dump restart zone we go again. And back under green we go again as Johnny Suggs brings them to the green once again. He's nailed every restart so far, and he's nailed this one as well.
Yeah, he's a great restarter, is Johnny Suggs. Of course, the youngest grandfather I've ever met. Ewan, he's only 38 years old and has a grandchild as the car's gone round in the background. Multiple drivers trying to take avoidance. And multiple cars involved again. And, I mean, at what point, Ewan, do we start to think, come on, there needs to be a little bit of calmness here from some drivers. I don't understand how this is continuing to happen lap after lap.
I'm not sure either, to be honest. I think the race control have got to very soon be thinking about the old single file restart.
Well, I don't even think we have our race control tonight. So,
okay.
I think
no, we won't then.
Maybe we need to drag trade and just say, hey, can we set this up for a single file restart, please? Because that's going to be the only way we're actually going to get going cleanly to this point.
Although, having said that, so far, I believe anyway, the cautions have sort of been set up by the fact that there's been a car getting loose, and that's quite difficult to get away from when you're single file or not.
The tyres haven't been able to warm up properly. We haven't done a full green lap yet, so the tyres are yet to actually warm up. So they're stone cold, and no one's able to get grip. So maybe drivers just need to not push quite as hard off the start of the restart. Let the tyres come up to temp and then push on, because that's probably one of the main reasons why this is happening. Is drivers are going for push through corners. The rear's then getting loose because the tyres aren't up to temperature, they're not up to pressure either, and the rear's just going around on them. And I think that's what is causing the main issues here. As you said, it's drivers getting loose. It's not drivers cutting up under somebody and actually knocking their rear. So I think as drivers, they all need to have maybe a gentlemanly agreement. Hey, let's just take it easy for a few laps. Let these tyres get up to temperature. Let them get up to pressure. Once they've got the grip level, we can then push on and try and go racing properly, because it's not working at the moment.
Yeah, I think unfortunately having that collective agreement is going to be very, very difficult to actually achieve. As Jack Anderson there gets his lap back, by the way. That's who was roaring through on the outside line there.
No, he's right there on the inside.
Oh, is that him there?
Yeah.
So somebody just roared past. I'm not sure what Jack Anderson's doing at all.
Well, he came out of pit lane. He came out of pit lane, and he has got a pace car livery on his truck. So apparently he's playing the game of the pace car right now. I don't really know why. But he's, although he is still a lap down technically on the race leader. So he may get let past because he is technically the lucky dog. So he should be let go.
He'll get the wave around because he's ahead of the race leader here.
Yeah.
So as the lights go off, he'll get the wave around, which I think will be this time round. The lights on the pace truck should go off, and they do. So Jack will go through. Yep, and we will have 26 cars still on the lead lap, and still at least 32 running, if not one or two more. In fact, we have 33 running indeed.
We're going single file.
We are going single file. Yeah, absolutely right. I did criticise briefly. I don't like to criticise really, but just briefly last week that maybe we didn't do it early enough, and it was sort of very late call to do it. But scene 3 goes it now. No runner's gone longer than a lap, so I think that's the right call.
Yeah, I think single file. If we still get an incident off a single file restart, again, I mean that's when we have to start asking more questions. This is the cleanest way we can get this race restarted, because no one's alongside each other. They shouldn't be running side by side unless somebody makes a mistake in turn 1 or turn 2 off this restart. This will hopefully clean things up a little bit.
Let's hope so. These trucks have been getting very, very loose, though, so far tonight. That is for certain. And that may well continue.
Maybe we've been coming into the pump and dump restart zone too much, and that's why they're so loose. Who knows? But who knows?
That's what they think they have to do.
Maybe that's what they think they have to do.
That's their. They're not instructions. That's for sure.
No, they're not.
Through the restart zone and out. Black Jackson burnout for 75 is back underway. And at the front, Johnny Suggs nails another restart, but behind him this time is Mike Rinker, who's made up 5 places so far in this chaotic race.
Yeah, Paul Harris as well, up 2 positions in this one as well. He had a good qualifying in
caution
this one.
already.
Yeah, caution's already thrown. I think it might have been Steve Bocock, who's just towed back to pit lane. That's already happened. I don't understand how this is happening every single time. Is it still just the cold tyres and drivers? Oh, what are they doing?
Oh, this is goodness me.
This
is
a
stack up.
I'm sorry. That there is ridiculous. We've had what, 3 cautions prior to this? And you're crashing in the restart zone? What are you doing?
Yeah, that is pretty bad, unfortunately. That's quite bad. I mean, it's to be fair, I'll just although I do agree with you, just the small counter to that is the fact that we've had 3 restarts, yes, and 1 start and 2 restarts up until this point, but they weren't single file, and that's what's causing a bigger stack up than what you normally see. But this is because people are look at the gaps people are leaving back here, by the way, because they're trying to sort of guess the jump. And when you don't get it right, you have to slam on the brakes and look at it go down the line like this. Because it actually starts further up the line. Obviously, the effect is here with the 6 car that gets turned first. That is Bailey Brannon, who's found himself back here in the 6 truck, and he's feeling the effects of it. But
of course, as well, Ewan, there are rules around hanging back. They're not supposed to be hanging back for the restarts. They have to keep within a car's gap of the car's length of the car ahead. Like, it's. Hurts my brain sometimes.
I agree.
Hurts my brain sometimes.
I agree. I know what you mean, but unfortunately, that's not quite been adhered to so far. So there's the race recap, by the way. It will be 4 cautions for not 11 laps. That's not quite correct. I think
that's just the total amount of time that the caution has been out for. Of this race.
It will stretch out for longer. So I guess the difference between me and iRacing, I'm counting caution laps when it comes out. It only counts caution lap for it when it's being cautioned for a whole lap. So it has, by its standards, we've had 4 green flag laps so far. But that's not quite correct. What I was going to say is that at the end of this, they'll have done 16 laps, but only have used 8 laps of fuel. So how many cautions are we going to actually need for that to overturn and then for this to be a no-stop race?
Well,
you'd need to save 16 laps,
they've saved
which needs 8
laps.
cautions.
Yeah, they've saved 8 laps of fuel, so they're out to 43 that they could make in this race. And right now we've got, we're now on lap 16, so we've got 44 laps to go. So, yeah, they're still obviously going to need to save a bit more fuel in this race. But, yeah, I mean, how many more cautions will we need where drivers can do it without a pit stop? I think we're going to need a lot more. We're going to need probably as many as what we've currently got, Ewan, for that to happen.
But you know, at this rate, we're on for 12 before the end of the race. In fact, we'd have a 13th caution, which would take us to a green-white checker. That's the maximum we can have here tonight. So far, we're absolutely having the maximum amount of cautions that you can have. Hopefully, that particular restart there is a wake-up call to everybody in the background. You cannot try and jump the start like that. You cannot leave gaps. And so they're going to close those up to the back straight and hopefully have a more even start this time round where they're not hitting each other down the back there.
Well, I mean, it's, you know, all of these drivers should have plenty of experience running ovals. Those are rookie mistakes, Ewan. Those are real rookie mistakes. So hopefully this is now going to tidy this up and we're going to be able to go racing once again as we head up towards the restart zone. Mike Rinker will lead the field off the restart as the pace truck will come in, and Rinker Harris will try and do battle at the front of the field. How long can we go green for as we head up towards the pump and dump restart zone once again? And it's green flag at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. For how long? Who knows? Only time will tell. Hopefully it's for a long time, as we have 34 laps remaining in this race. So if they were to pit now and we went green the whole way, they could make it to the end of this race.
Yeah, so that's why Devon Trusty came in along with Johnny Suggs and a lot of the other top names actually came into the pit lane back there because they want to make absolutely sure they want to get home. Rinker comes out of 4 and in a moment we might be able to complete our first lap under green here. Harris and Battering side by side coming over the start finish line, and we do have a green flag lap in its entirety here at Vegas. Side by side for second though, as Blevins there gets very close to the 94 car in front of him. Kevin Battering there getting a nice push down the straight and gets to second.
Yep, he's pushed himself up well. Harris has been caught up on that outside line, but now he's got the toe from Battering on the outside. It'll help him stay ahead of Blevins, or can Blevins now get a bit of toe here off of Battering to pull him through? I mean, Kevin's got the choice. Who's he going to favour? It's Paul Harris, and Blevins is now tucked in behind them as well. Fast lap of the race for Devon Trusty. He's on those fresh tyres and fresh fuel as well. He can push on to the end of this race now no matter what happens, and he will try and stay in the fight throughout the rest of this one as they run it round turn 1-2. See good side-by-side action from these drivers already. Zach Smathers has had a little wild run, so he's just under pressure here in the midfield.
And this is where some of the top names are as far as working their way back through the field and trying to win this race this afternoon, because as you say, there are going to be some drivers who can make it home on fuel from here, even if it goes green all the way to the end, and some drivers that can't. Hopefully it does go green all the way through to the end. It'll be an interesting run if indeed we get there, but this is the battle a little bit further down in the field. This is not for the leading positions, and these guys, by the way, are already quite a long way off of the race lead because of the restart there, and that was a cut across the nose there from the 28 car. Zach Smathers being aggressive in traffic.
Being very, very aggressive in traffic, and he wants to try and force his way through. He's got a Posey right behind him, or someone else actually got a Posey's livery. I think it might be someone else who has the same. No, it is a Posey. They're a lap down. So Posey Karina, who is further down the order and is a lap down on these drivers. Zach Smathers is very aggressive tonight in terms of his push rate and trying to get this car through and up positions as well. Multiple cars swapping and changing, staggered 3 wide through turn 3 and 4. Been caught on that high line now, so everyone is just trying to keep themselves in line of stern, but the top 4 are heating up as they've caught up to Rinker.
Yeah, they've used the slipstream a bit, and Rinker is now in the clutches of Battering, who's been leading the line, rather, of these four. Here comes Harris as well as Stephen Blevins as well, down in towards 3 and 4, approaching half distance here at Vegas. Outside here, looking for Battering as he's trying to get that overlap on Rinker, who just shoves him out again. One of those big championship contenders at the end of the Xfinity Series just last season, as we've got to stop here, at least a run to the inside. Oh, we've got a crash, and the 18 car's involved.
It's Tyler Miller, second incident for him tonight. He's already been through pit lane one time. Good green flag run though at that point, Ewan. We'll see now if any of these front runners come in knowing that they can make it home, but there's definitely some drivers that'll stay out. You look to Neville Trusty, Johnny Suggs, Clark, Anderson, Owen, as well as Simmons, and then a couple of drivers below them too. They should stay out because they know they can make it home from here.
Well, Vegas is the place for gambling. Are they going to gamble that there will be 3 more cautions in the second half of this race?
They very well may do. I mean, we are only just at the halfway point of this race. We've already had 5 cautions. Side of statistics would say we're likely going to get those 3 more cautions.
I was going to say, I bet you've got good odds for that, to carry on with the gambling theme. We should have made a sweepstake at the start of this to see who could fit the most gambling-related phrases into this broadcast, but it's too late for that now. Anyway, people know we're doing it since I've said it.
It's been a real roulette of occasions tonight, Ewan. So drivers are just hoping they don't get snake eyes.
See those? You see, we could have snuck those in without anybody noticing.
I know.
For
we could
a little while. Anyway, missed opportunity. Let's see what they do this time round. Pits are open for the leaders. The top 7 haven't been in, but not everybody below that can make it home, and they're not going to risk it that it's going to go all the way home. The disadvantage, of course, with staying out and hoping it goes all the way home is that you don't get a free set of tyres, which everybody, apart from Stephen Blevins, are going to come in and take.
Yep, they're going to come in and take this moment, except for some of those drivers who did pit earlier. So Nate Owen has stayed out. Daniel Wing, did he just have a crash under caution? No, I think he might have just pulled it up, possibly. That would have been terrifying for him. But there's multiple drivers who've stayed out who have already pitted. Nate Owen pitted on lap 10. He can make it home from here. Jack Anderson pitted on lap 13, can make it home. Brandon can make it home after pitting on lap 14. Dyson pitted on lap 2, so he still needs probably another caution or 2 to get this car home. Howell as well pitted on lap 2. Simmons on 13. Nelson on 9. Diamado on lap 14 as well. So Blevins has really left himself out to dry here by staying at the front, but he has taken a massive gamble.
Fascinated, by the way, sorry to go off track again. Fascinated, by the way, with the way you pronounce Chanda Howell's name.
Chanda Howell.
How? How have you turned so many letters into one syllable? It's the Australian accent. I'm not. It's not you. It's your genetics. It's not your fault. But just makes me laugh. Maybe that's how you say it in American as well. Is that how they would say it?
I would think so.
How?
Chandler Howell.
Anyway, sorry. Just getting sidetracked again there. I think you are correct, by the way, in terms of who's pitted when and indeed how many cautions they need from here. Nate Owens, as you say, probably already got the cautions he needs, but Joe Dyson, I would say, definitely still needs 2. But the lap that he pitted on probably only means that, we need 1 less caution than you otherwise would. So if you were looking to make it to the end without stopping, you'd need 8. He's pitted, though, just after the start of the race, so probably needs 7. This is number 5, so you do the maths. There are only 24 laps to go, though, when we go back green. These races do tick by very quickly.
Oh, I mean, we've rushed through some of these races this season, Ewan. I mean, some drivers have... some races have gone by incredibly quickly. Some races have still gone by quickly, but have dragged on just that little bit just because of some cautions and stuff like that. But... no, it's amazing how quickly we can run through it. And, we've already seen that we can get a good green run out of us. I think we can get another one after this caution, and that's my prediction.
Yep, I hope so. It's approaching 10 laps, that previous one there. Green on lap 16. I think we got the caution on 24? 22, sorry, 22. So that's just 6 laps, isn't it? But felt longer than that, to be honest. So there we go. Let's see how how long this one's going to be as we get into the pump and dump restart zone again. Pace truck will pull down to the inside, and it will be Stephen Blevins in control of a restart for the first time tonight. Here we go again. He waits and he goes to the bat in the middle of the restart zone, but trailing him right behind Nate Owen, then Joe Dyson, who's in third place under pressure of his own, in fact, from Jack Hansen and Bailey Brannan, who round out the top 5. Look at that in the background for 5th position. It is all happening there. Ryan Simmons moves up to 5th as Bailey Brannan, 6th place. Bailey Brannan and Jack Hansen have got clear of that kind of battle, but behind it's absolute madness. Blevins leads the field nicely.
Well, Ewan, what we can say is we have now survived another restart. We've lasted a full green lap off another restart there, which is good to see.
It's only the second time we've been over a lap in terms of a green flag run, so that is good to see. Oh dear, look at this in the midfield. Amazing that we don't have more cautions with a field like this. Look at this, through 3 and 4, super close. The 8 car makes contact with 96, and there is going to be contact here. Oh, 71 in the ball hard, and there's going to be contact on the pit straight. Caution flies again, just after 2 laps this time. Careful reversing back onto the circuit like that, Joe Dyson. He was running 3rd. He's all the way down to the back of the field.
Yeah, so we saw a couple of drivers had to take evasive action on that one there. One of them was Daniel Wing. He had to sink onto the grass just to avoid. He had to sneak down to the infield there. On the trioval just to take that evasive action. So, wild moment in this race. But the way it's going, Ewan, I mean, we are caution number 6. At this stage. 2 more and Blevins can make it on fuel. 1 more, Howell can make it on fuel. But tyres are definitely going to be a struggle.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, Joe Dyson, one of those who also would have made it with 1 more caution, was involved in that latest one. So that is not going to be much solace to him. But yeah, tyres, as you say, going to be the big problem. However, having said that, on that last restart, Blevins didn't look to be weighed down too much by his tyres. We'll see if he takes any this time round.
Yeah, we'll see if it does happen. I think if you're Blevins, though, you are committing to this no-stop strategy now. There'd be no point coming in at this point of the race as Anderson is driving up to take the position of the pace car. Oh, that is a quality joke.
It will not be long getting a penalty, by the way. You used to be careful with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, somebody's come in the background.
Yeah,
Cody Nelson
Howell
it is.
actually going to commit to it, so he is going to come in after last putting on lap 2, so that takes out that strategy. Blevins is committed now to a no-stop. That's what he wants. Yeah, I think the problem for him is that he's going to get eaten alive with tyres. That's the main issue now for him. And, we then got to look back to drivers in behind. Well, Nate Owen, a little bit unproven. We'll see how he does. Anderson, obviously, breakout win last week. Would love another one, but he's yet to be proven on the big, motor speedways or the super speedways. Brannan, we know how good he can be in this situation. Simmons has had bright, shining moments this season as well. We know what Rinker can do as the Xfinity champion, and Battering's been quick as well. So there's quite a few drivers that are going to start to hoard Blevins now off this restart, and it's definitely going to put some pressure on him here to go racing once again.
Yeah, it is, and these constant cautions though in the single file restarts really help him because he can't have those people coming up from behind and overtaking him on new tyres. Yes, Mike Rinker's already up to 6th place, and a few more cautions, even if there are any, he'll be up a few more places from there comfortably. But even so, Blevins is helped by more cautions, that is for sure. As I mentioned, the maximum is 13 in one of these 50-lap races, in any 50-lap race. But that's not the case tonight. We are not going to get 50. It will be more than that, you would imagine. 20 to go as it stands. Into the pump and dump restart zone we go again, and it's another clean restart from Blevins, who leads us back to green.
So Blevins does well off the start. Owen looking to go right with him. Anderson's done well too. There's a couple of drivers already side by side. D'Amato has been dropped back a little bit here off the restart zone, so he'll try and get back up to speed again. You've got to watch out for Johnny Suggs. He's on the move tonight as well. Travis Creech is trying to follow him or lead him through the pack here as Paul Harris is now being put under pressure up towards start-finish line once again. So Blevins leads a complete lap of Las Vegas Motor Speedway, but how long can these tyres withstand the pressure of the cars behind as Brannon wants an inside run here on Anderson up through turn 1, and Anderson's been caught on the outside line here. That's a crucial mistake, Ewan, as he now has to reset himself, get himself back in line and try and find another opportunity to fight his way back forward.
Here comes 94, contact! Anderson didn't want to let him in, he knew the situation. Battering gets into him, and look at 81 on the outside line. Travis Creech, we're nearly 4 wide. We are 3 wide, coming off the 4. There's contact! Jack Anderson goes round one way, he hits the 8 car in the other. There's carnage in the triangle. 4 cars involved at least. More pile in, 2 more. 44 found the fence hard. Jack Anderson's been smashed into at least a few times. There's cars backwards as well. They're still wrecking into the turn 1. There's an engine blown there for one of the trucks too, I think, or is it just some smoke for car 44? Dear oh dear, it is a big accident on the way towards 1 there. It is a blown engine, at least a damaged engine for Ronnie Clark, and Jack Anderson's got a wrecked truck as well.
Yeah, that almost looked like a little bit of lack of spatial awareness there from Anderson as he came round and up towards. There was no contact. He kind of just dipped down. Didn't realise there was a truck right there on the inside, and all hell's broken loose.
God.
Oh my God.
Oh, jeez.
And you got to feel for Smathers and others who tried to take evasive action, but I mean Anderson didn't have control of the truck there. The front end was completely broken. He had no way of pulling that thing up, and they were just passengers at that stage.
Yeah, I think Chris Mackey couldn't quite, was one of those who couldn't quite slow it up in time, got into somebody else, and they both powered into the incident there. So that's one of the 2 that Blevins needed, and the longer this continues, the longer he is happy with this situation, you would imagine. There'll be less than 15 to go when we go back racing this time round. You know, I think if that caution was placed in any other race, you'd see, you know, fair enough, that can happen at any point, a big pile-up. It's just a shame that that's the number 7 now of the day.
I mean, it wouldn't be so bad if it was maybe number 3 or number 4.
Exactly,
but
yeah.
The fact that it is number 7 is obviously disappointing at this point of the race. Nate Owen has actually come into pit lane now. Very interesting strategy from him. He should be fine on fuel, and he hasn't got another set of tyres to put on, so it's a very interesting choice. D'Amato's in as well. Miller, Wing, Smathers. I mean, multiple drivers are in who have to get their trucks fixed up as well. So, but yeah. Been a tough night on the road for these drivers at Vegas.
Yeah, it has. Well, caution flies here at Las Vegas again. It's a slow-moving truck on the apron. That's Corey Colfers Jr., who is the first car now 1 lap down in this race. We've got 19 still on the lead lap, by the way, including 6 who have just come down pit lane. Now Owens led them on, and they come back out again with some new tyres across the board. But it's not one of those races where new tyres are making the difference. I think, again, much like last week was until Anderson won the race in the final corner of the race, it's about track position again, because these cautions are so frequent.
Well, you say that, though. This caution happened right at the front of the field, and everyone piled into the caution when, nowhere really to go. But what I think could be I still think it is the issue here, Ewan, obviously. The tyres, they're dropping temperature, they're dropping pressure every time we go under caution, and that's making these trucks loose. That one was probably the first instance we've seen tonight where a driver's just had a little bit of poor spatial awareness and moved over on another car, and then that's caused the carnage, where every other caution has really been brought out by trucks getting loose, tyres not being up to grip, and then we've just had absolute carnage ensue from that. So what we could probably say is we've had 6 from, not necessarily driver mistakes, but maybe errors with the car in particular, and then making the mistake because it's not up to temperature yet. And then we've had 1 where it's been solely on the driver for not having that spatial awareness and just moving over that little bit too far.
Yeah, in defence of Jack Anderson, the car on the inside was not quite as low as they could have been. And so that's Anderson's defence, I suppose, in terms of, that's where you'd expect the truck to be, and so he was accounting for that, but not actually where it was. And so, these things can happen. As we say, through the trial, it could have happened to anyone, but Anderson is unfortunately going to be standing a long time down pit lane now, as are 5 others who were involved in that. We've had some attrition tonight. Yeah,
unfortunately Anderson's out of this race. He's just said too much damage. His race is done. That's unfortunate there for Anderson in the 58 car. So that's his race done and dusted. Hit by the same car 3 weeks in a row. Well, that one there, Jack, looked like you actually drove down on him off the restart, but I don't know if there was contact from behind. That's just what it looked like to us, Ewan, from our outside point of view.
Net code?
Maybe some net code. I mean, he has actually got, because he is in a US server with a lot of US drivers, he has actually got, you know, a lot of ping compared to them, so that could also be an issue as well. Absolutely.
Into the pump and dump restart zone we go again. A bit of a stack up this time round as people trying to get a jump, but again, Blevins getting a nice launch off the front. These restarts are playing into his hand with 13 to go.
So we're slowly trickling our way down to single file laps here. We've made it past the flood, and now we're trying to get to the flop at the end of the deal. As Simmons put some pressure here on Brannon as they sneak their way up onto the back of Blevins. He needs one more safety car to get his car home on fuel without a single pit stop in this race. If we go green the rest of the way, he is cooked and out. We'll have to drop back and come into pit road at some point. So we'd have to argue, Ewan, Brandon's probably actually the corrected race leader at this point because he's on those fresh tyres. He's got good pace. And he's able to put the pressure on the 52 car ahead of him.
And here comes Brandon on the way into turn 3. Down to the low side he goes. He's on those newer tyres put on admittedly 25 laps ago. They've not done very many laps in anger, and so they're a lot better than Blevins's, who have done every single lap on these tyres at the moment. The 52 car holding firm on the high side though and gets clear again towards turn 1.
Well, somehow Blevins is surviving this onslaught, but how long can these tyres withstand the pressure? Because Brannon has got so much more grip. He's on the preferred line on the inside of the corner. Blevins can only hold on for so long here, Ewan, and he's going to start to sweat because the longer that this race goes green now towards the end, the worse it's going to get for him and the least amounts of fuel saving he's going to have. The other main problem then is Rinker looks to come up 3 wide across the trial. Well, the other problem then is as well, if we go into overtime, can he make it on fuel if he does get that 8th caution?
Oh, big crash! Big crash in the battle for 5th. The 4 car gets turned. That is Paul Harris in the fence. Travis Creech involved as well. We're going to have a late race restart here with about 6 to go. Just as Mike Rinker takes the lead from Bailey Brannon and then Stephen Blevins. That looks like the order in the front 3.
Well, that's what he needed. He needed this 8th caution now to get this car home. But the issue now for him is if we go green-white checkered, is he going to have the fuel available to him if we have a late caution?
Well, I think he will, because there will, you know that in another green-white checker scenario, there will be at least one more caution. That is confirmed. So, yes, I think he will just about have enough, but he'll still have to save. I wonder now whether, because he's lost the lead, he might well Hail Mary this and come in for 4 tyres. It's probably going to be too late, really, to make all those passes, but I wonder whether he might be tempted.
He very well may be tempted, but yeah, I think at this point he's made his bed. He's now got to lie in it, Ewan, and his bed is made of old rubber and smells of fumes. That's the bed that Stephen Blevins now has to lie in. If he does pit, that'll be it. That'll be it thrown away. He won't have a chance at a podium. He probably doesn't have a chance at a win either because of the pace that Brannon and Rinker have and the fact they are on fresh rubber too. It would take them both having an incident for him to really be able to sneak past them and get a run. I don't see him winning this race from here.
No, I don't. But you know, it's not impossible. Again, you know, we saw a 3 wide moment there just before the caution came out, and so it very much could happen again where he watches those 2 go side by side in front of him, and then he ends up joining them 3 wide. So let's wait and see on that one. Jack Anderson says he was hit into turn 3, which he's on about by 94. Who I've just outed without really thinking about it.
He's unsettled him into turn 3 and 4, but the incident happened at the trio.
Yeah. And Trevor Thomas, by the way, as well, just pops into YouTube chat, says got in too many wrecks to continue. So thanks for joining us after your race anyway. But yeah, shame to see how it ended there. Still 25 cars definitely running. That would have us at 11 retirements, but that's the absolute maximum. There may be some in the pit lane who will have a late run out here.
We'll see how this race pans out, Ewan. We've got, we're on lap 43. We've got 8 laps to go. It'll be 7 to go when we get restarted. Once again. Oh, actually, it'll be 6 to go when we get restarted because we'll have one more under pace car. So 6 laps to go when we get restarted in this race. What more can happen across those 6 laps? We could easily see another caution. We could easily see an overtime scenario as well. Who is the overtime scenario going to benefit at this stage? Probably Rinker. His tyres are a lot newer than Brannon's. He pitted on lap 24 compared to Brannon's lap 14, which he didn't take tyres on, by the way. I think he actually took tyres on his first stop. So, yeah, there's a bit of pressure just starting to be built here for some drivers.
I was going to say, in a case of a late race restart, the leader would have the advantage more than anything else, but that also turns out to be Rinker at this stage in the day as well.
We're going double file again. So
okay, well, I do understand that for the end of this race.
I do understand it too. We may get a caution straight up after this restart though, but we'll see. The statistics of this race would say yes, but yes.
If there's one within 2 laps of this restart, then we will get a finish before a green-white checker, I think. Maybe it has to be within 1 lap. But if it's after that and before the end of the 50 laps, then we will be in a green-white checker scenario, of which there is only 1 attempt in this series.
Yes, that's right. Now, if it is that the checkered would still fly on lap 50, we can still get the green-white checkered with 2 to go. But yeah, if it is to the point where we go racing with 2 to go, and on that 2 to go lap we do get a caution, we can still go green-white checkered at overtime, but that's very rare that does actually happen.
Right. Okay. Well, hopefully we don't get to that scenario. I'd quite like to see these last 6 laps run under green. I think if that's the situation, then Rinker could get a real run for his money here with Bailey Brannon alongside. But let's wait and see as the pace truck pulls in and they bring themselves up to the pump and dump restart zone once again. Rinker increasing the pace a little bit. Look how eager everybody is behind as we go green flag racing with 6 to go.
6 laps at Vegas. How much more pressure can be applied to the front of this field? And who can survive the onslaught of Vegas Motor Speedway once again? They've already had their kneecaps busted in, ankles taken out from under them, and a finger cut off or 2. What more can they take from what this race has thrown at them to pay their debts to the racing gods? As Suggs is already up in a P3, trying to get past Brannon. Blevins is hanging on for dear life right now. He's only got his hands just touching the hairs that are hanging to him. Rinker leads well. Blevins has got some pretty good pace, but look at Suggs on the inside. Round through turn 1, 2.
Johnny Suggs is in this race all of a sudden once again, off of 2, and he's down the inside and through on Blevins, who's stuck on the high side at the moment. He's going to find this very, very difficult from now with Mike Rinker leading the way. It's going to be Suggs, I think, who puts the most pressure on him, but he's still alongside there, Blevins, and that prevents Suggs from using the high side through turn 4. And in this situation, it's the race leader who's benefiting most here. Mike Rinker with 4 to go.
Right on board with Brannon, round through 1, 2. Will he give a little push to Suggs possibly? Get them both past him and both onto the podium. This is now going to put some pressure on Rinker here as they continue to fight away. Rinker trying to block every single lane. He's got to be careful as Blevins is still on that outside line. He's getting a little free run here with some clean air.
Oh, wow! Rinker so nearly got turned there and diving to the inside. Brannon tries to get past Suggs. He's blocked. Coming through on the outside, Brock Piper's in this race suddenly with 3 wide in the background as well as Blevins goes to the high side for the lead.
Well, Brock Piper, the man out of nowhere, has snuck his way up 15 positions tonight. Rinker's now trying to give some benefit here to Blevins to keep Suggs and Blevins side by side and behind him. That's going to give him the favour as he run round 2 laps to go at Vegas Motor Speedway. Look at Brock Piper trying to sneak his way up as well. Who does he favour here? Is it the man with no tyres, or is it the man who's won the most regular speedway races this season?
I think himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes very much to the high side, but Suggs is very much got the race leader in his sights. Mike Rinker has led these final few laps. He's led all 6 so far of these restart laps, but are we going to get to the white flag? It looks like we are. It's 1 to go, brought to you by Rinker Construction Remodeling, and it's going to be Suggs who gets onto the back of Rinker in towards 1 again. He's not been side by side with 2 to go that time, but he comes from the high side to the low. He'll get a massive run off of 2. He'll go for this race win in round 5 of the Truck Series, but is it going to be enough? Rinker defends the inside again. He blocks the 15, who gets into him slightly. Here comes Blevins as well. He gets into Suggs, and Mike Rinker's going to win this race at Vegas. There's contact through 3 and 4. They're battling to the line. Mike Rinker wins the Blackouts and Burnouts 75 here from Las Vegas Motor Speedway in a great 6-lap run to the finish. It is Rinker who takes the victory in the trucks as well as the Xfinities. He can do it all, and Mike Rinker wins at Vegas.
What a race win for Rinker. What a race it was. A race of 2 halves, Ewan. That's a solid victory for the 9 truck. The champion of the Xfinity Series takes home a race win. He'll pull it up in the celebration zone, and he'll get himself some burnouts for good measure as well. But a tough race for some drivers, a better race for others, and one that is a very memorable race victory for Mike Rinker in the restart zone.
Well done, Mike Rinker. He's done it in the Xfinities. He'll do it in the Truck Series. There's probably a chant in that somewhere.
Probably.
He's going to burn it down here at Vegas. And you've got to in the Blackouts and Burnouts 75 here tonight. Hopefully he'll join us in a moment for a chat once he's done celebrating. But how was those final few laps, by the way? That was extremely entertaining as Johnny Suggs was trying to take those places towards the end. He pitted sort of on halfway, which forever buried him in the pack, and he just couldn't quite get there in the end.
Yep, it just didn't work out for some drivers in the end of that one. But race results coming up on your screen for you now. Mike Rinker takes the win over Johnny Suggs and Stephen Blevins on the podium. Kevin Battering, Bailey Brown in the top 5, ahead of Travis Creech, Brock Piper, Chris Mackey, Daniel Wing, and Cody Nelson makes up the top 10 here, Ewan.
Yeah, you see qualifying sessions on road courses separated by more gaps here than this, by the way. Look at this. Zach Smathers finishes 11th, then of Nate Owen, who was running up towards the front at a time. Ryan Simmons was knocking on the door of the top 5 at the time as well. It was 13th ahead of Jason Reeves and Tyler Miller running at the top 15. Michael D'Adamo was next, and then a bit of a gap back to Jacob Miller, Chad Schmidberger, who were a few seconds further down. Same for Paul Harris and Chanda Howell, who rounds out the top 20. Traeger Ebber was 1 lap down with him alongside Kevin Baker. Ronnie Clark went 2 laps down with Joe Dyson. Corey Koffler's 3 laps down before you get to those who multiple laps down here tonight. Chris Hone, Devin Trusty, Percy Karina, Jack Anderson, Robert Stevens, Trevor Thomas, Cody Pruitt, Steve Pocock, John Roberts, Joshua Wetmar, and Braden Craycraft, who actually retired after his opening lap incident, unfortunately for him. Let's have a chat to Mike, shall we, who's won in the Truck Series tonight at Las Vegas. Congrats, Mike, on the great win. 6-lap run towards the end. You defended for your life. Tell us how you managed to hold on for the win there.
I mean, it just had to hold that bottom. I knew if I let him get to the bottom, it was over with. So just everything I could to make sure he couldn't get his nose down there. And I mean, I blocked pretty good, but I think I did a decent job not doing it too late or too aggressive. And he did a really nice job with not just running over me. He definitely had some contact, but I mean, bravo on him for racing me the way he did. And, you know, I actually had a blast. Like, we definitely had some pacing to do, but once it cleaned up there at the end, that was awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty clean across the board as well, just from a spectator's point of view, the final 6 laps there. But how were the early laps to deal with? We didn't get a green flag run in until we were over a third of the way through this race, a full green flag lap, that is. How much was that sort of disruptive for you early on in this race?
Actually, I mean, I gained positions every time. So I don't know. I must have just been really good at restarts today or something. Cause yeah, I made 2-3 spots every time the green would come out, and then I'd get a caution and we just wouldn't wear our tires. I was saving fuel, and trying to make it last and wondering if I was going to make it. And then when we got that caution halfway, I was like, I'll just go and get tires and hopefully I'll be on an advantage. And I think it worked because I was on 10 lap better tires than guys I was racing with.
How are you enjoying the Truck Series so far? We've had a third of the season to date, 4 more rounds till Christmas, and then 6 rounds coming after that as well. But at the 1/3 mark, how are you enjoying the trucks?
I like trucks. I like just about anything NASCAR, but yeah, trucks is one of the good ones. A lot of these intermediates are about all out, which is it's just really fast, and you got to try to conserve tire and make the right strategy call and try to stay out of the trouble. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of stuff going on there that makes it really fun and interesting.
Yeah, well, I think you're right. The intermediates, out of all of them, certainly providing the best racing so far. Next one coming in 2 weeks, by the way, at Chicagoland, which in its form where it used to be, should still be good racing. Thanks for chatting to us as always, Mike. Is there anybody you'd like to shout out or anything else you want to say before we let you go?
I'd just like to shout out to the broadcasters and to Trey and everybody that makes this possible and runs this this ship every week, and I really enjoy it. And just like I said, thank you.
Well, thanks very much for chatting again, Mike, and we'll hopefully see you next week.
All right, see ya.
Thanks very much, Mike Rinkett, winner tonight here from Las Vegas at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. What a late run that was, Hamish. Thoroughly enjoyed that, and as he said, he didn't feel like he did anything too egregious, and Johnny Suggs, to be fair to him, didn't run him over either. It was a clean battle too.
Yeah, I mean, a clean battle between the both of them. Classic stock car racing battle between them, just trying to and fro between them. Leading Johnny on was Mike and trying to lead him around. Johnny trying to follow him too. He just couldn't quite get the run on him. So, no, I mean, there wasn't anything egregious about it. It was a great battle between them to the very end. It's just, Mike got the better run and Johnny was held up a little bit with some traffic in behind.
Absolutely, and that just about does it for us here tonight from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. As I mentioned on MotorMouth Broadcasting, we'll be back again in 1 week's time from Phoenix. A change, of course, from North Wilkesboro, from one side of the country to the other through 2 time zones. We'll be going to Phoenix and staying in this part of the world for the next round of the championship. So I hope you'll join us then. 55 laps of racing from the flat mile-long racetrack. So, as I say, hope you'll join us for that one. I've been Ian O'Leary alongside Hamish Munro until we're back again in the next round of the I2I Motorsports Truck Series next week. It's goodbye for now.